السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الأمين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد. So, almost every day in Ramadan, we've been hearing or making the dua من هديت وعافنا في من عافيت وتولنا في من توليت. That's the part. تولنا في من توليت. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Al-Wali. Al-Wali. Now, if you look at the marriage situation, when a woman wants to get married and she has a wali, what does the wali do for her? He looks after her affair. He offers support for her. So that's exactly the definition. The scholar said, Al-Wali is Al-Qarib alladhi yar'ak, is one that is close to you, that looks after you. Or in the other explanation, a beloved one that supports you. One that is beloved to you and gives you support. Now, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said in the hadith that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Man aada li waliyan faqad. So, Allah Azza wa Jal is al-wali, and if He takes you as a wali, then He takes you as a close friend, someone that is close to Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in this hadith, Allah Azza wa Jal says, whoever shows adawa, any enmity, animosity. The scholars say ada hina, it means abghada wa aghdaba bil qawl wal fi'l. So anyone who angered or hates or harms any close friend of Allah, verbally or physically, فَقَدْ آذَنْتُهُ بِالْحَرْبِ, I will declare war against him. So the question becomes, who is the wali? Who becomes a wali of Allah Azza wa Jal? Two opinions. One group of scholars said the scholars are the awliya of Allah Azza wa Jal. That's one opinion. The second opinion said the believers, and they gave evidence from the Quran. Allah Azza wa Jal says, Allahu waliyul ladhina amanu. Allah is the wali of those who believed. So Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, he said, Man kana mu'minan taqiyan kana lillahi waliya. Whoever is a believer and he has taqwa, then he will be a wali of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whoever shows enmity or animosity to a wali, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will declare war against them. And Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah says, Wallahu idha harab al-abd ahlaka. And if Allah declares war against a slave, He will destroy him. Obviously, nobody will stand a chance. So this is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as al-wali, being someone who looks after you, takes care of you, gives you support. And you being a wali of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you're being a close friend of Allah Azza wa Jal. And we saw how then you get the support from Allah. Anyone showing any animosity, any harm towards you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will destroy. So then the scholars from here said, you should then be very careful of showing animosity to any of the believers. Not just the ones that you happen to think might be awliya or righteous people. Those people, it's okay, don't worry about those people. Worry about the ones that nobody suspects them of being awliya. So, the Prophet said in the hadith, رُبَّ أَشْعَثَ, someone ash'ath, his hair is unkempt. So perhaps a person with his head unkempt, and the doors, he mentioned doors will be closed in his way. People don't open doors and invite him in, and so people don't give him much weight. لَوْ أَقْسَمَ عَلَى اللَّهِ لَأَبَرَّهُ. If he swears an oath to Allah, if he says, Ya Allah, أَقْسَمْتُ عَلَيْكَ, oh Allah, I swear that this will not happen. لَأَبَرَّهُ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will fulfill his oath or his vow. Nothing, it will not happen. If he says, Ya Allah, I swear this will not happen, Allah Azza wa Jal will fulfill it for him. So it's the person you're not suspecting. In another hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said, هَلْ أَدُلُّكُمْ عَلَى أَهْلِ الْجَنَّةِ, or should I not tell you of the people of Al-Jannah? And then the Prophet ﷺ said, كُلُّ ضَعِيفٍ, he said every weak person. So the scholars describe that he is actually weak, but on top of that, the people see him as weak. Again, لَوْ أَقْسَمَ عَلَى اللَّهِ لَأَبَرَّهُ. If he swears an oath or swears that, Ya Allah, this will happen, or Ya Allah, do not let this happen, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will fulfill his oath. So they said, these people, they don't necessarily have to be popular people, they don't necessarily have to be shuyukh, They don't have to be a huffaz of the Quran. It could just be a normal person in the community. What's beautiful here is that you see a direct link between your relationship with Allah and your relationship with people. Because the religion is two parts. Al-ibadat wal-mu'amalat. Acts of worship and then dealings with people. And we have extreme where someone focuses on ibadat. MashaAllah. A+. But then you come deal with him and it's the worst experience you'll have in your life. And then you have the exact opposite. These extremely sweet and nice people, and they have nothing to do with worshipping Allah and obeying Allah. And they'll tell you, I'm nice to people, he should take me to Jannah. La habibi, you're nice to people, but you forgot the Lord of the people. So it's both, it's not one or the other. So, and you see this being intertwined now. As you learn about Allah Azza wa Jal, you start to see how that trickles down to your dealings with people. And you might offend someone, and he might be closer to Allah Azza wa Jal than you are. You know, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he told the companions about a man that they didn't know, they hadn't seen, and he hadn't met personally. And of course, all our Yemeni brothers now know about this man. His name was? Very good. Uwais al-Qarni. Because he came from Yemen. Yeah, that's Zaman though, ما تفرحوا. So, the Prophet tells them that he described him that he is barran biwalidati. Yani he is very obedient, very dutiful to his mother, and his dua is responded to. So if any of you see him, make sure he makes dua for you and ask for forgiveness for you. Now we have two giants, Ali radiallahu anhu and Umar ibn al-Khattab. And when Hajj season would come, they would go to the groups from Yemen. How do you recognize the groups from Yemen? You smell delicious food, you know it's Yemen, right? Huh? Hanid. So they would go to the groups of Yemen and ask about him. And when they found him, they asked him to make dua. So look at the giants and look at the person whose dua was responded to. Abu Musa al-Ash'ari radiallahu anh, the companion, this is later on, he was in this area and he saw all these farms that were completely burnt to the ground. Except for one farm. Not burnt. All of them were burnt except one. So he wanted to know, who does this farm belong to? And a man came. Even in the narration, his name is not mentioned. Unknown. But he's close with Allah. So Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, the companion radiallahu anh, asked him, he said, why is it that your farm wasn't burnt? He said, because I swore upon Allah. I swore to Allah, Ya Allah, you will not burn this farm. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala fulfilled that vow. Someone, perhaps a no-name, maybe a nobody hatta, it's a harsh term, but with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is a wali. This is someone who is close to Allah Azza wa Jal. And he swore, Ya Allah, it will not burn, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protected it. And all the other ones around it got burnt. So, obviously, there is a question, like how does one become a wali of Allah? We know the famous verse in the Quran, أَلَا إِنَّ أَوْلِيَاءَ اللَّهِ لَا خَوْفٌ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا هُمْ يَحْزَنُونَ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَكَانُوا يَتَّقُونَ. Those who believe and they used to have taqwa of me. They used to be God conscious and God fearing. So the scholars say someone has to follow the book, the Quran and the Sunnah. Someone prays in the masjid, does all the righteous deeds. Not just somebody who doesn't pray and then he floats in the air for 5 minutes and khalas. This guy is a wali and this is a karama or a miracle. Alhamdulillah, we don't have to deal with that too much here. But overseas, mostly this is what you have to deal with. This kind of this kind of nonsense, and sometimes it's jinn, sometimes it's just illusion. But the point is that they have to show signs of righteousness. I remember there was this guy, my father used to dislike this man so much. He said we were sitting at someone's house, we just had lunch and everyone chit-chatting. Then it was time for salah. So they said, Yalla, Bismillah, everyone make wudu, let's go pray. This man, older man, he's like, I just prayed. And we're just all sitting together. So everyone just looked at him. He said, yeah, I just prayed in Mecca and I came back. You prayed in Mecca and you came back? This is his karama, mashallah. أنت قاعد معانا تقول له prayed in Mecca. أيوة خليها بيني وبينك بس.
Sheikh, teleportation is already here.
المهم, it's so first they follow the book, they follow the sunnah. You see, they pray, they do the acts of righteousness, and there will also typically not be people who try to show off whatever righteousness they have, or they're close to Allah Azza wa Jal. They don't go around showing it off and trying to do tricks for people. This is what we see a lot of times overseas, but like we said, it doesn't affect us too much. But any believer who is mu'min and taqi, God-fearing, God-conscious, is a wali of Allah. Allahu waliyul ladina amanu. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal to make us from that group. Jazakumullah khair for attentive listening. Sallallahu baraka ala Muhammad. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.